ICAR Central Soil Salinity Research Institute, Regional Research Station, Bharuch. Today I am here to talk about the halophytes, their classification, adaptation, and uses. As you all know, that soil salinization is a worldwide problem now, which is increasing at an alarming rate because of salt immigration from the sea, unscientific irrigation practices, poor drainage in the agricultural field, water contamination, and other many environmental factors. Salinity is jeopardizing the productivity of 6.73 million hectare area of agricultural land in India, with 2.93 hectare as sodic lands and 2.74 million hectare as saline lands. So let me classify the sodic and saline lands. In the sodic lands, the sodium ion content is in the higher side in the soil. But apart from that, in the saline land, the sodium chloride content is the higher side. The salt concentration is the higher side in the soil. So this is the difference between the sodic land and saline lands. Salt present in the soils restrict normal crop production, and at higher level, it eventually transforms the fertile land into the barren land. We can cultivate the regular crops in the land due to higher salt present in the soil. So new dimensions need to be explored to bring saline areas back into some form of cultivation. So the halophytes. Halophytes are extremely salt-tolerant plants and have evolved numerous morphological, anatomical, and physiological strategies to survive and proliferate under saline conditions, because normal plants do not survive under these type of soil conditions. Flowers and Colmer defined halophyte is plant that can survive and reproduce in environments where the salt concentration exceed 200 nm of NaCl. It is found that dicot halophytes are more tolerant as compared to the monocot species. So less than 2% of the world plant population come under the halophyte, which are mainly distributed in the arid, semi-arid inlands and high salinity wetland near coast, because these are the area where the saline lands found mostly. Till now, more than 2,000 to 3,000 halophytic plant species are identified in the world, and majority of them belong to the angiosperms. Detail of the halophytic species database can be generated, can be accessed online on the eHalo repository. This is the interface of the page on the internet available. So you can see that a specific plant which are salt tolerant or halophyte, which are classified under the halophyte category. You can see in this page, you can see pictures and other detail in this page, in this interface. So this is the classification of halophytes. They are classified in different categories. So this is the classification of halophytes. Number first, based on the ecological aspect, the Sandbox 2003 classified the halophytes based on the ecological aspect. And on the first number, obligate type of halophyte came. They grow only in salty habitats. Many plant species belonging to Chenopodiaceae family comes under this category, like Salicornia bigelovi. They can grow only in the salty condition. In the normal soil condition, they will not show proper development, proper growth. Second number is facultative halophytes. They can tolerate salt and able to establish themselves on salty soils, but their optimum growth observed in a salt-free or low salt condition. Most Poaceae, Cypressae, Brassicaceae species like Aster tribolium, Gloex maritima, and Plantigo maritima comes under this type of category. Habitat in different type of halophyte. They normally grow on salt-free soil, but they can thrive better than sensitive species under saline condition. So like Chenopodium, Myrosaurus, Potentiella, Fituca, Agrostis, like this, so many species are there. They come under the habitat in different type of halophyte. On the second basis of classification is based on the mechanism of tolerance. Walter 1961 gave this classification. So on the first number, salt excluding type halophytes. The root system of this plant of this group possesses an ultrafiltration mechanism for salt. They exclude the salt from the soil. They uptake only water, and they exclude the salt from the soil. So they this type of tolerance they show to survive under the saline conditions. Like mangrove vegetation shows such type of tolerance. Second number is salt excreting. halophytes. Some plants regulate internal salt levels through secreting the salt from salt gland. They will uptake the salt inside them, and they will secrete from different type of glands outside. So they will balance their pH and EC level inside the plant. This mechanism can reduce the salt level within the plant, like Avicennia. Many species example is given here. The third number is salt accumulating type. These plants accumulate high concentration of salt in their cells and tissues to overcome salt toxicity by either developing succulence, or the salt is compartmentalized in certain tissue of the plant. These tissues act as a salt storage away from the growing cell. So they do not hamper on the normal growth of the plant. They accumulate the salt in different part, and that part will not hamper the growth of normal plant. So this is the examples. On the third basis is the based on the habitat. Stocker 33 gave this type of classification. And this category first is aquahalines. In which two categories are there: emerge halophytes, hydrohalophytes. In the emerge halophytes, most of the stem remains above the water level, and the hydrohalophytes, whole or almost whole plant remain under the water, and the water will be saline, so they survive in such type of conditions. Second number is terrestrial halophytes, like hygrohalophytes. They grow on the swamplands near the coast. The marshy and swamplands are there. So due to the coast water, due to the sea water, the salt concentration is higher at this place. So most of the mangroves and salt marshes species along coastal lines are hydrohalophytes. Second number is mesohalophytes. They grow on non-swamp, non-dry lands. And third number is xerohalophytes. They grow on dry and mostly dry lands. Most plants in desert area are xerohalophyte, and many of them are succulents. So normal in the field condition, normal plants growing come under the category of mesohalophytes. The fourth number of classification bases are based on the salt tolerance. This type of classification given by Chapman 1942, in which first category is myohalophytes, the plant which grows in the habits of low salinity level below the 0.5% NaCl. Second category is euhalophytes. Plants grows in highly saline habitat. They have been further subdivided into the following groups: mesohalophytes, plant that can tolerate salinity range of 0.5 to 1. Meso-euhalophytes, plant that can tolerate salinity range of 5% and higher. And inhalophytes, plant that can tolerate salinity range of 1% and above. So these are the these were the classification of halophytes on the basis of different parameters. Here are some pictures of halophytes, specific halophytes like Salicornia, Rhizophora. This is the mangrove. Salvadora persica. This arid and semi-arid lands. It is found mainly, and very salt tolerant trees. It is Pseudia, Sisivium portulacastrum, Juncus, Chrysanthemum, Morinda. These are the some examples. There are many halophytes, but these are the pictures of some examples of halophytes. So, what are the important features of halophytes? Halophytes undergo many changes in their morphology and anatomy to survive under the saline soils, because the conditions are not normal for a plant growth. So they have to modify themselves, their anatomy, their physiology. They have to modify to survive under that conditions. These changes play a very important role in adapting these plants to the surrounding environment. Some of the common adaptive features found in the halophytes are salt excretory glands. Like in the classification we have seen, that salt excluding type of halophytes are there. So they exclude the salts from these glands. So this is the one modification we can found in the halophytes. Hypertrophied pores. The pores size will be large. Succulent leaves and stem. Succulency is a main features of halophytes. Air spaces that can carry oxygen. Short life cycle. They complete their life cycle within short range, so they escape the harmful effect of salinity. Waxes and specialized roots. So here are some modification in different parts of the plants like root, pneumatophores. The soil in coastal region is poorly aerated and it contains very small percentage of oxygen because of water logging, and this water is obviously salty. So in order to compensate this lack of aeration, and hydrohalophytes develop negatively geotrophic roots called pneumatophores. This is called the breathing roots. So you can see the pictures of pneumatophores of Soneratia mangroves. The roots come outside and they will breathe here, and they can take water and nutrients from this aerial roots. Second number is stilt root. In addition to normal roots, many stilt or prop roots are developed from the aerial branches of stem for efficient anchorage in the muddy or loose sandy soils, like Rhizophora mucorota. This is the picture of Rhizophora. Third is root buttress. Large number of adventitious root buttress develop from the basal part of tree trunks, and these root buttress provide sufficient support to the plant. Stem. Some halophyte develop succulency in the stem. Succulence depends on the ratio of observed to free ions in the plant cells. Some studies say that succulence is directly correlated with the salt tolerance of plants like Salicornia herbaceae and Pseudium maritimus. Succulency help to tolerate salinity to the plants. In the leaves of the most halophytes are thick, entire, succulent, generally small sized, and are often glassy in the appearance. Stem and leaves of coastal aerohalophytes are densely covered with the trichomes. Leaves of the submerged marine halophytes are thin and have very poorly developed vascular system and frequently green epidermis. Fruit seeds and their dispersal. The fruits and seeds are generally light in weight. Fruits wall have a number of air chambers in the fruit, seed, and seedlings which can float on the water surface for pretty long time, are dispersed to distant places by water current. So this is the mode of dispersal to their survival. Viviparous mode of seed germination. Halophytes or mangrove plants growing in the tidal marshes show vivipary, which is defined as the germination of seed while the fruits are still attached to the mother plants, like Rhizophora aegicarus avicennia species shows this type of mechanism. The developing embryo receives water and nutrients from the mother plant, grows uninterruptedly from fertilization until it is shed. The so-called germination thus starts when the seed is still attached to the mother plants. So you can see that how smart plant is it is. They germinate in the while attaching to the mother, because the plant are mostly sensitive in the stage of seedling stage or germination stage to the salts. So if they are attaching to the mother plant will provide the specific nutrients or water uh, uh, which is exclusive to the salts, so their germination and seedling growth will not hamper. So they are too much smart for this mode of mechanism to survive. Anatomical features. Exposure to salinity induce several structural changes in halophyte, including thicker leaves, larger cells, especially those of spongy parenchyma, smaller intercellular spaces, higher cell elasticity of the cell walls, fully developed water storing tissues, smaller relative surface area, low chlorophyll content, smaller and fewer stomata per surface area. So this is these are some introduction about the halophytes. Now we will talk about the potential uses of the halophytes if they are growing in any saline land or other lands. So what are the potential uses? How the human can use these type of plants to our daily uses or other uses? So due to the numerous factors, saline area in the world is increasing rapidly, and concurrently there is urgent need to slow down the salinization process of fertile land, which is possibly not possible. You can say we can slow down the salinization process, but we can't stop it. And to bring the already salinized land under the cultivation, this is the better option, that what salinized land is there, we can bring them into cultivation by uses of these salt tolerant varieties or halophytes. So halophytes are able to provide satisfactory yield under different degrees of salinity and can be used for several domestic as well as commercial purpose. Here are some potential uses of halophytes that can be exploited under the saline conditions. Like first is they can be used as bioenergy crops. Some halophytes can store high concentration of oil in their seed, almost more than 20%, which are invaluable source of biofuel. Various studies show that fatty acid methyl ester composition of oil extracted from halophyte is comparable to other crop derived oil used for production of biodiesel. Halophytes can be irrigated with seawater without compromising their biomass because they are salt tolerant. So seed and oil content will be unaffected. Due to their huge potential, several halophyte species have been screened and bred for saline areas for large-scale biofuel production. The salt excluder type of halophytes are generally better choice for biofuels because accumulator type of halophytes largely produce non-combustible biomass. So some points we have to take care while using them as a bioenergy crops. Here are the list of halophyte species primarily used for oil extraction from the seed. And you can see different type of halophyte we can use, and the oil content you can see that it vary from 14% to 45%. So they can potentially they can use as the biodiesel crops. Second use is phytoremediation. Halophytes have vast potential to rehabilitate the salt-affected soils and phytoremediation of the polluted soil. Salt-accumulating type of halophytes play a major role in phytoremediation as they uptake salt from the soil and accumulate it in their tissues. Further, proper disposal of their biomass is important to remove salt from the soil. Phytoremediation capacity is mainly species dependent, while significant variation in the quantity of salt accumulated in the biomass. So phytoremediation, as you all know, that in this any contaminant we have to bring out from the soil. Some plants are there; they can uptake the this contaminant or like salt in their biomass. But we have to dispose these plants very carefully, very properly, to because if we will grow that plant in one area and we will dump it in another area, so that salt will move from one place to another place. So proper this disposal of these crops is very important in this case. Here are the most promising halophytic plant species for phytoremediation, and you can see the list of Juncus species, Atriplex, Pseudia species, Xanthium species, Prosopis species we can use for phytoremediation. Third use is halophytic VGPRs, plant growth promoting rhizobacteria. Halophytic plants have evolved various strategies for survival in saline environments. The rhizosphere of halophytic plants serves as a reservoir of various types of salt-tolerant rhizobacteria called as halotolerant bacteria, which enhance the growth of crop under salinity stress. So scientists in our institute, they thought that if plant will be salt tolerant, why the microorganisms present in that soil will also be tolerant to the salinity. So they extracted this microorganisms from the soil and they identified some of culture which is salt tolerant and also help in promoting the growth of crops. The use of these bacteria could be explored for making a favorable soil environment for cultivation of non-tolerant crops. It can increase the choice of crop for cultivation under the saline soils. The liquid formulation of various salt-tolerant biofertilizer has been developed by ICAR, our institute, Lucknow Center Regional Research Station, and commercially sold as Halo PSB, Halo Ajo, Halo Mix, and Halo Zinc. They are tested to suit the soil with a pH in the range of 7.5 to 9.7. So these are the specific growth promoting rhizobacteria. We can increase the yield, they can secrete the nutrients, and they can promote the growth of plant under the saline condition also. Because if in the saline soils, if the conditions are not suitable for the crop, the conditions are also not suitable for the normal microorganism. And as you all know that microorganism is very important for soil health. So if due to this soil health is deteriorating in the such type of soil, so we can help to enhance the soil health by adding such type of plant growth promoting rhizobacteria. These are the pictures of these cultures, Halo PSB, Halo Ajo, Halo Mix, and Halo Jinx, and it is commercially available. Fourth use as a vegetables and fruits. Edible halophytes might be explored for vegetable and fruit purpose for saline areas. Numerous halophytes are already being cultivated as a vegetable and fruits locally across the salt-affected areas of the world. In India, there is extensive traditional use of halophytes as vegetable and fruits. Desirable traits such as size, quality of these potential crop can be improved by development of new varieties. The coastal salt marsh succulent Salicornia species is extremely salt tolerant and a multi-purpose use halophyte. So Central Salt and Marine Chemical Research Institute, Bhavnagar, Gujarat developed a process to yield culinary vegetable salt from it, and it is sold under the brand name Saloni. This salt came from not came from sea, it came from the plant. So it is plant-based salt. Arid halophyte Haloxylon saliconium is considered as a famine food of Rajasthan, and as extracts of the hexoxylon ricubrum is added as a special ingredient for unique taste of Bikaneri papad of Western Rajasthan. So the S of this plant is added as a special ingredient. So this taste of from the Bikaneri papad, from there you can't get anywhere else. These are the some halophytic plant species used for vegetable and fruit purpose, like Sisivium, Chinopodium, Atriplex, Eudia, Portulaca, Chrysanthemum, Amaranthus, Prosopis. So many of them we are already using, but we don't know that the plant are halophytes. Like fruit phenoics, Carissa, Caparus, Morinda, Pandamus, Atrocarpus, Anosa, Glabra, Musa, Ericida. These are some fruit purpose using halophytes. Fifth use is grain and oilseed crops. About 50 species of seed producing halophytes are potential source of edible oil and proteins. The best part of their use for grain and oilseed is that they generally do not accumulate salt in their seed. So this quality enhances their potential for intermediate use as a food without additional treatment. Production of vegetable oil from seed-bearing halophyte is also increasing. Like Salicornia europaea is high-quality edible oil yielding halophyte with great economic value. The suitability of coconut oil for consumption and hair oil is very established in India. A number of salt-tolerant cereal classes like Penicetum typhoid, Xenopodium quinoa, Distillus Sporobolus, Unula, Gidenia are well known to produce small high protein seed with high nutritive value as compared to wheat and rice. This quinoa, Chinopodium quinoa is very emerging crop nowadays. It is a halophyte, and we also done experiment at our institute, and we seen that at the 30 EC water up to this plant survive and produce yield. No doubt yield is decreased from the normal water, but it produces yield up to the 30 EC, and this is very salt tolerant plant. Sixth use is agroforestry and conservation uses. This cultivation of halophytic trees and shrubs for fuel, timber, and soil conservation offer an opportunity to create sustainable agroforestry systems for stabilization and rehabilitation of degraded environments. Salt and drought tolerant shrub trees like acacia, casuarina, eucalyptus, and many others can be planted for conservation and harvested for various products like paper, pulp, fiber, food, fuel, and timber. Nitrogen fixing halophytes like Albigia, Cassia, Leucaena, they have been effectively utilized as cover crops, green manure, mulch, and compost. The herbs like Leptadenia, Eleuropus, and Areva are strong soil binder, and they can use in sand dune fixes and in the arid areas, which are saline. Long-term work has been conducted as Biosofar project, Biosaline Agroforestry at ICAR-CSSRI Karnal to remediate the saline wasteland. Soil pH was 10 to 10.6 and ESP was 89 to 92, which is quite high, through cultivation of biomass for energy plantation, and found that eucalyptus, acacia, prosopis, and casuarina proved helpful for reclamation and productive utilization of these land with highest biomass production after 14 years. So they can be these species can be efficiently used under the barren lands, which are unproductive, which become unproductive due to the higher salt content. Seventh uses in the term of medicinal uses. Various halophytic plants are well known for their bioactive derivatives and have long-term considered important ingredient for pharmaceutical, agriculture, pesticide, traditional medicines, and natural cosmetics. About 400 salt-tolerant plants have been reported to possess medicinal value based on the uses reported in literature and exploring biodiversity of saline habitat, including coastal regions of India. So these are the halophytic plant species used for medicinal purpose, like Sultan Jampa. It is anti-inflammatory agent. Phenylcalmarin is contained in the Sultan Jampa. Balantius roxburghi, potential source of disulfide used for synthesis of steroidal drugs. Sadabahar, we all know that this produce about 130 carthamus alkaloid compound, including the vinblastine and vinscreen, two drugs used to treat the cancer. Apamarga, used as herbal medicine in obstetric and gynecology. Ageratum conjugate, widely used against dysentery and diarrhea. Kapok, seed used to cure headache and toothache. Satavari, for various reproductive and hormonal issues in women, gastric ulcer and indigestion. Punarava, act as anticoagulant, analgesic and laxative medication. Arc, for treating skin, digestive, respiratory, circulatory, and neurological disorders. Karonda, for treating skin infection, fever, earache, and syphilic pain. Cassia tora, which is called Sena, contain the organic compound ethiconnine. Cassia italica, leaves are used as natural henna or blonde henna. Guggal, come extract from the plant used in Unani and Ayurvedic medicine. Kumra, used for wound healing as an anticoagulant, antifungal. Anant Bel, one of the Rasayan plant of Ayurveda. Bachnak, seed contain alkaloid colchicine. Sankh Puspi, high valued medicinal plant in Ayurveda. And Rudravanti, anthelymatic, explorant, aphrodisiac, and digestion. So these are some. There are many halophyte which can use as a medicinal purpose. These are the example of some plants. This is potentially used in the Ayurveda. We our this ancestors was using these plants. Nowadays we forget, but in the Ayurveda they were used for treating different type of diseases and problems. Another use is gum, essential oil, and resins. In India, halophytic trees and shrubs of dryland also produce important gums and resins, like Acacia senegal, of great economic importance for the gum arabic, or locally known as kummat in Rajasthan. It is known as kummat. The gum obtained from Acacia nilotica is known as Amravati gum. Gum collected from Acacia auriculiformis is sold commercially. These gums use in this medicinal purpose also, and some uses in the this sweet also. Perennial shrubs, Gliridalia, produce diaterpene acid resins. The perennial desert shrub gayole is a source of natural rubber. Seed of Cassia theora contain various gum tannins, resins, and essential oils. Halophytes like screwpines, maritama, and mentha are popularly known for production of essential oils. Lemongrass, we all know that it is cultivated as a culinary and medicinal herb because of their scent. Another use as the landscape and ornamental plants, and many attractive halophytes can be efficiently utilized for landscaping and ornamental purpose in saline areas. Salt-tolerant lawn and tough grasses, cut flowers, and landscape plants tend to decrease the use of fresh water for more essential sensitive crops. Also, they can the barren land, the unused, unproductive land, due to their landscaping use, we can convert as a park or any this area, garden area. So plants such as Batis maritima and others can be used for the landscaping. Some annual flower like chrysanthemum, calendula, these are also can be cultivated with the saline water. So landscaping is the one of the option of halophytes which can be used potentially. Another use is breeding for tolerance to salinity. Halophytes, which are known for their extreme salt tolerance, can be used as a source of genes to improve presently cultivated crops into the high-yielding salt-tolerant crops. Because as you know that all the areas converting in the saline areas, so the normal crop production is going to hamper in the future days. So we have to convert our traditional variety to the salt-tolerant crop. There is a need to do this. During recent year, a lot of efforts have been done to release improved salt-tolerant varieties of various crops, and our institute, Central Soil Salinity Research Institute, work as a pioneer institute for developing salt-tolerant variety of different crops like rice. For the rice, the CSR4, CSR10, CSR13, CSR23, CSR27, Basmati CSR30, CSR36, and CSR43. These type of varieties we have released for the salt tolerant salty areas. For the wheat, KRL14, KRL19, KRL210, KRL213, and KRL283. These specific varieties, salt tolerant, specific salt tolerant variety released for the salty areas. Indian mustard also, we have developed the salt tolerant varieties like CS52, 54, 56, 58, and CS16. One variety for chickpea and lentil also we have developed for the saline areas like Karnal Chala 1, PDL1, and PSL9. These all type of varieties which they can perform better under the condition of saline soil as well as the irrigation with the saline water. Another use is halophyte as a forest crop. Halophytes have been used as forage in arid and semi-arid part of the world. They serve as the best option for the sources of forage and fodder in the dryland ecosystems. Major part of the economic commercial halophyte cultivation around the world has been covered for forage and fodder uses. Fodder halophyte include grasses like many type of grasses are there, shrubs and trees. Among tree species, Acacia, Prosopis, Salvadora, Leucaena, Leucosphaera, and Ziziphus are the most popular traditional fodder in the arid region of India due to their high abundance and good accessibility in these areas. So, this is also one of the uses of halophytic trees or grasses under the saline condition, that if they can, the land is not able to produce the grains or field crops, so they can, the area can be converted as silvipastoral area for the dairy production. So here are the conclusion. The halophytes are the distinctive category of plants that can grow and thrive well in the habitat with very high salt concentration, where most of the other plants or species do not survive. From ancient year, these plants have been used for different purposes by our ancestors, and due to the extensive land degradation, time has come to focus on the potential uses of halophyte and to upscale the commercial cultivation of halophytic plant species for improving the livelihood of resource poor farmers. So this is the end of my talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Monika.
Can I unshare my presentation?
Yeah, I'll take up the questions from the participants now. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Monika, for a wonderful presentation. Now I take up the questions from the participants. Can you please stop sharing the screen?
Okay.
Yeah. Is it possible to on the video or the...
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. That's very nice. Thank you. I will take up the questions now. The first one is, which allopathic crops or plants are suitable for cultivation in saline soils?
Which?
Allopathic crops or plants are suitable for cultivation in saline soils.
Allopathic?
Yeah.
I didn't understand the question.
Allopathic. One second, I will just take up the question. Just give me a minute. It is Halophytes, right? Halophytes.
Halophytes, huh?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Which halophytic crops or plants are suitable for cultivation in saline soils?
As in my presentation, I have seen what category, what purpose you want to cultivate. If for field crops you want to cultivate, for fodder crop you want to cultivate, for what purpose you want to cultivate, it is depend on that. If you want to cultivate for field crops, you can see that variety we have developed for wheat, rice. These salt tolerant crop you can grow in that areas.
Okay, I will take up the next question. What are the advantages of growing halophytes compared to traditional crops in salt-affected areas?
Particularly there is not advantage. We can see that normal crops are not growing there because due to the higher salt range, the normal crop we will not able to produce the normal crop production, normal trees. So halophyte, they are salt tolerant, they can survive in that condition. So this is the advantage, that they can survive that condition, so we can grow there in the salty conditions.
Okay. Are there any specific farming practices or techniques that need to be employed when cultivating halophytes?
No, no, not any specific technique, because they are already salt tolerant. If we are growing any non-salt tolerant crop in the saline areas, specific farming techniques we use, like sowing on the burns and leaching. These all techniques for management of saline soil we have taken. But as they are salt tolerant already, they don't want any specific requirement for managing the salt in the soil. They plant automatically doing that. So there is no any specific technology, farming technology for them.
Okay. How can farmers and agri-entrepreneurs benefit economically from growing halophytes?
Because see, the farmers can be benefited because the area, the farm of the land, if farmer having saline land, he is not able to grow any field crop there, so he can grow any commercial crops, like fruit crops, like vegetable crop, which is salt tolerant, which is comes under the halophytic category. So he can take up the production from there. The industries like uh, industries, I have seen, I have given in the presentation many of the plants like biofuel we can produce from this halophytes, like fodder we can produce from the halophytes. So like this area, according to the area, they can select the crop and they can start industry on that land where the normal crop production, normal trees cannot be grown. So they have to see which area they want to grow, and they have to select the crop or tree species according to their need, according to the demand of the region.
Okay. What challenges or limitations do farmers face when cultivating halophytes, and how can they overcome them?
Main challenge is that if you are growing a new crop, main challenge is for the marketing purpose. Like for example, I am telling that if you want to grow any medicinal halophyte, the market is a market, searching for the market is very important factor for that. So this is the main challenge, I think, for them if they introduce any new crop for their area, for their farm. So main challenge is the market and processing. So if they will work in the group, and they will make any self-help group or like small companies, so they can do the thing very easily.
Okay. Are there any ongoing research or development initiatives to improve halophyte cultivation and utilization?
Yeah, many work is going on. Like one halophyte I have named, the Chenopodium quinoa. It is the emerging green halophyte. So we are working on that. That up to which level it can tolerate the salinity, which soil it can be grown. So this many type of work is going on our research institute, and you can see on our website many type of work is going on.
Okay, I will take up the next question. How can students or researchers contribute to the study of halophytes and their potential applications in agriculture?
Students, they can for PG and PhD research, they can take a crop. They can take crop like halophytes in their research, and they can explore new areas, new uses of halophytes, new halophytes are new crops for the field crop production, because they are this natural flora and fauna in the world. So if we have to cultivate this commercially or on the farmer's field, specific package of practice, as you question once, we have to develop for that how we can take a maximum production from that. So there is vast area for exploring this aspect, that for any halophyte we have to develop the package and practice, how much fertilizer it needs for getting higher production, how much water because it is salt resistant, so water quality we leave, but other factors, how much they are affecting on their yield. So this area can be explored by the students.
Okay. Are there any success stories or case studies of farmers or agri entrepreneurs who have successfully adopted allophyte cultivation practices?
Particularly any success story is not in my mind at present, but yes, there are, like quinoa. For quinoa also, if you will search on the Google, it is a main commercial crop nowadays. It's selling in the supermarket, and also very high at very higher prices, and it's growing in saline land also. So if farmers are growing there and they are selling this quinoa, so this they are getting good profit from that. So there will be many success stories, not particular in my mind at present, but you can search and you can do research and what you can do in that aspect.
Okay. Can you please tell us about yourself? What is your education and career background? What made you take an interest in this particular field?
Okay. Myself, as I told Monika Shukla, working as scientist agronomy in the Central Soil Salinity Research Institute, Regional Research Station, Bharuch. Its headquarters is in the Karnal. Our institute headquarters is Karnal, and it has three regional research stations at Bharuch, at Lucknow, and at Canning Town. I have done my MSc. I have done my BSc Agriculture at first from the Jabalpur, completed in the year 2008. I have completed my MSc from Anand Agriculture University in year 2010. After that, I have joined this Agriculture Research Service in year 2011. And my first posting was at Kajri, Jodhpur, Central Arid Zone Research Institute, Jodhpur. Then I have took transfer from there in the year 2015 from here, this Bharuch station, and I am working on the management of saline vertisols in this area, because our area is having vertisols, and they are having salt in the deeper layer, not upper layer, but in the deeper layer they are having salt. So I'm working on management of these type of soils, what type of crops we can grow, what type of farming practice we can do in this area. So I'm working in that area, and that's all.
Okay, that's very nice to hear. In summary, what is the main message you like to convey via this talk?
Message.
Yeah.
Okay. This saline area is increasing day by day. You can see due to the salt increase by sea, because due to the climate change, the sea is also shrinking to the lands. So this salinity is going to very much a huge problem in future days. So we have to explore in the aspect that how this saline area can be managed by, as I told, that we have to either we have to slow down the salinization process, but we can't do this. It is not in our hand. We can do that. How we can explore the saline areas, how we can manage these saline areas, and how we can explore the saline areas. Can we grow new crops in that areas? How we can take good type of production in that areas? So there are various management options for managing saline areas. But if we are growing the salt tolerant crops like halophytes, that portion we will reduce. Like managing the saline soils, we will reduce. Simply saline soils, we can grow the crops, the food crop, the vegetable crops, or many type of uses crops, so we can grow. So this type of halophytes are very useful in going to very useful in the future areas due to increasing saline areas in the world.
Okay, thank you very much. We have now completed the round of questions. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we like to thank Dr. Monika Shukla for the talk and for answering the questions. I like to also thank all the participants in the meeting. This meeting will now be closed.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, also
You're
for
most
inviting me. Thank you so much.
welcome.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye.